I'm Bertus Basson, and today we're going to take this BMW R18 Roctane to go visit my friend Andrew Nell, who is a meat maestro, the king of free range, a BMW fanatic, and an all-round great guy. So, let's hit the road. How are you doing? Good. How are you doing? Seeing you. Welcome. Yeah, good. Relax. Off to you. Yeah. Very good, thank you. Oh, there we go. How's it with?
Hello, sir.
Thanks for the short ride.
Yeah, just very short. Next time we choose a location that's a bit further away.
I think that's a great
We
idea.
can do a canyon in between.
Look, this is my favorite little sushi joint in Cape Town, and the thing that I admire the most, the thing that I admire the most about them is I come here with my kids and with Madly. And kids have got a shelf life in a restaurant, and Ben manages to get the food out super quickly, so we don't get lost too much.
I like the shelf life too.
No, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. We're gonna eat and talk. So Andrew, I think probably the most question you get asked the most is when did you get into meat and why did you get into meat?
So I think when I was, I had a previous life of finance, and I studied a finance degree and was working a little bit in the industry and realized very quickly it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I think from a young age, I lost my mom when I was younger. Not to start on a heavy note, we can laugh at the end. But I lost my mom when I was younger, and I sort of cooked for the family, and I realized how important mealtime was. And I have found a deep love through her for cooking and food. And I realized that I also like nice things in life, and I want to be able to experience things. And at that stage, being a chef, I didn't know if it would be good to have a lifestyle that I wanted, i.e. also, being able to see your family, and you know how it is. How many years you had to work to get to a position where you were able to do that. And I think for me, produce was always interesting, and I always loved meat and protein, and I think it became very apparent that that would be an avenue that I would pursue and love, and it was a very easy passion to fall into, and especially meat that was able to be traceable. That we understood where it came from, and asking the questions and understanding where your meat on the dish, on the plate, is coming from. I think Marco Pierre White said something a long time ago in one of his shows, but I'll never forget it. It was every time someone overcooks a piece of meat, they should be fired on the spot because an animal died for nothing.
Yes, I agree.
And it's heartbreaking. So I think, for me, it's always been an understanding of loving animals and caring about them and celebrating them as a caricature.
I agree. And Andrew, with selling meat, obviously you meet interesting people and do lots of things. Your most difficult customer, you ever had one of those? A tough one? It's not the Basson guy, I'm sure.
No. He's plain sailing. We've walked a long road already together, and I think it's been a good one. Yes, I've definitely got one, but I don't know if I can talk about it because they'll know that I'm talking about that. Yeah. So if I said the one, then I think they'd know immediately who they are. So I'm going to keep quiet about that one. But no, generally we've got great people. The weirdest thing I've been asked for is owl.
Oh wow,
owl.
Yeah. Owl meat. Is it legal? Is it legal?
So I don't even know where you hunt or forage an owl. I don't know who would want to eat a bird of prey. I don't think it's very.
No.
I don't think it's very delicious or safe. I don't know. They said, do you sell owl? And I remember answering the call, and I was like, excuse me? I'm looking for owl. And to this day, I hope that they weren't saying that, but it seemed like they were, and I just said no. And then that unraveled this story of like, I wonder what the hell he's cooking and what recipe book is.
I mean, I know people in South Africa that eat squirrels. There's a lot of squirrel recipes. So it's an American thing. A lot of American hunters eat predators.
Yes.
So bears and those sort of things. It's interesting.
Yes.
Andrew, how much shares do you own in Carhartt?
Not enough, because I still have to pay for them.
It really is. And like, I know it's hard to find the cat, but when you find it.
So there's actually Shelf Life has got the streetwear stuff, but that's really expensive.
You know?
So I have mules. Whenever someone travels overseas, I politely ask them if they have some space, and then will genuinely try and control my orders that it doesn't take up their whole bag.
When you've got your obsessions, man. Like that's
Yes.
it, isn't it?
No, I love them. I love the brand. I love the clothing they make, and they've been family-owned business since 1889 or something. And I'm making good stuff.
Look, it's like American workwear, really.
Yes.
It's American Johnson's, really.
America's Johnson. Exactly.
And I think the thing is that it sort of also speaks to authenticity, but I think a big part of your authenticity comes from the fact that you enjoy working with happy animals.
Yes.
And I know that you like animals and dogs. Like you, I also hunt, and it's never like a hectic thing. But it's about consuming things that you knew had a great life before they got to you.
Absolutely. I think it's so funny. I mean, this topic comes up all the time, because I think we've been talking more about hunting now than ever before, and I think you see the biggest sort of chain stores now putting meat onto the shelves that actually have species specific, which has never happened before. I mean, you'd get ostrich everywhere, but now you're sort of seeing less pork, and I think it's great. I think we should be eating venison everywhere. We're celebrating more as a category, so it's a great thing to turn. And I think that as a category, there can't be an happier animal than a springbok. 100%. It's living the most natural life. And one day, hopefully, if you're a good shot, it gets zipped by a laser, and that's that.
The thing is, if you spend time in the veld, it's not always about shooting. It's about having time in the veld. And you could look at animals and appreciate them for the natural beauty and for belonging to us in South Africa. It's a beautiful thing to appreciate. And then it's also just happens to be delicious.
Yes.
Which is once you get there, it's delicious. So that's the reality.
It's everything. It's kind of everything before and after you pull the trigger. Like, that's one small aspect of it, but it's like, I mean, I'm going to get the word wrong now, but the Germans have a word for it, about being one with the woods and walking in the woods, and I think we have that in the Karoo.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a reset. Just sitting there in the veld and smelling the winds and cleaning the bushes and branding coke afterwards. It's all stuff that resets the soul.
Yeah, I love it. I fully agree. Andrew, while we feast, man, who comes up with a weekly Frankie burger?
So, it's a lot of it's a tricky one, because we kind of, some weeks Travis and I sit down and we have plans weeks in advance, and then sometimes we sit on a Monday and have zero idea on what's happening that week. So Trav and I come up together. Trav's been with me for years. He actually worked with your chef Michael in Hart Cabaret.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, Michael, the dodgy guy from Speak of Winner.
Yeah, other one.
Yeah, that guy.
The one.
It's like,
The guy called all the tilapia and cinema shot.
100%.
Yeah.
So one of my favorites was the Christmas burger. Like, that was really special. It's it's very inspired.
It was very cool. We do that one almost every year.
Yeah.
And it feels like it was playing to that like 80s Christmas table, gammon with the pineapples on, and like the honey mustard dressing. People love it. A lot of people. We only really repeat 3 a year. So it's the first one of the year is our classic Frankie's one, like a cheeseburger with all the condiments, and then we do a burger around Easter, which is always on a hot cross bun we get from Jason.
Nice. But you don't put rabbit on. No, hot cross plus bunny.
No, my partner's sister has a bunny, so I have to be cautious when we deal with that. But Jason, yeah. So Jason's the hot cross bun burger is a staple, and then the end of the year Christmas one, we always do a similar one. It's also great, yeah.
Like a scholar. I mean, the following you have for those burgers are like, incredible. You know?
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, we've got a cult following, which is every week people come, and my favorite thing is when someone says they have the burger and they go, man, that was delicious. What was it? And the fact that people don't even check what the burger is and then eat the whole thing and then only afterwards care about what it is just shows the faith that they have. It's really cool.
My problem is I always think, Afrikaans say that you always put as your mark, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. So I always have two. That's my issue.
That's 400 grams of meat.
As well, though. It's very amazing. Andrew, when you braai, what a charcoal?
Oh,
big one, huh?
That's a major one.
Well, can we throw gas in there as well?
No.
With charcoal gas.
Podcast. Can we take this podcast?
No gas.
No, gas is fine. I think anything that's going to be able to get you to sit at the table and have a meal with someone is perfect.
Yeah.
But gas is perfect for the weeknights. I don't have a gas bar anymore, but I've got a charcoal. I got a big green egg on the balcony. But I think if we like braaiing, there's nothing like wood.
Yeah.
And if you're braaiing for an event or something, then a bit of charcoal. But I mean, some Camille doing it. Can you beat it? No,
that's good.
I don't think so.
That's good. And you need to have so black wattle's fine for a Wednesday night braai.
What's a Wednesday?
If you wanna stoke up the fire, it's got to be vingerstompies. Yeah. And then obviously like good hardwood for long, slow. It's the best. I agree with you.
No, I mean I think it's also like it's the thing about a fire is it's the cut that you talk leading up to it, and just sitting around and pouring a drink and then like being like we can burn a bit more wood and then lighting the fire, which is amazing.
It's the African TV.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We sit and watch the fire. Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing.
There's a friend of mine went to America now, and I was there too, and we had this whole like American barbecue journey, and he said one of the major things that was missing was fire. Like people would smoke for hours and hours and hours and hours and have these big smokers and pull these amazing briskets off and then eat and leave. It's like there was no sort of, it was in a closed capsule, and the American barbecue is amazing, but a closed capsule, it comes out, it gets sliced, you eat and you bugger off. Like here it's like so they made an atmosphere key there. It's amazing how everyone came to the fire and stood around that fire while the meat is cooking. So it's a very cool thing. It's really beautiful.
So we are, man. We're seeing great into our everyday.
Absolutely.
Now, Andrew, what is your favorite animal to eat? Oh, big question, huh?
I think you circle back to, we're talking about venison and talk about all these things. I honestly think you circle back to beef. It's such a beautiful animal. It's so versatile. I'd say most of our business is around beef, but it's just, I think of the variety you get out of it. You can get all the same muscles out of a lamb as you can a pork carcass as you can a cow, but when you're like dealing with the bavette on a beef belly, and you're looking at those things and you can celebrate those little cuts and get up the Denvers and flat irons, I think it has to be just because of the versatility.
Yeah.
But also in saying that, you can't discredit the good old chicken.
No.
The chicken is so good. We did a chicken burger last week, and
grilled or fried?
Grilled, T-bone thighs.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And the amount of times I've heard someone say to me, you're doing a salad burger, was, I think it was 10 times that day.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how people's perception of value changes when they hear chicken. They're like, it's not a beef burger, So, but it's a beautiful ingredient.
So, I think to that point, I'd rather eat great chicken than shit beef.
1,000%, yes.
And a good chicken is a great chicken.
Yes.
It's just one of those things. There's from getting like battery chicken to free-range chicken,
Yes.
to sort of skophoenders,
Yes.
like really wild birds. Those things are vastly different. Battery chicken and a skop chicken is not even the same thing anymore.
There's one of our farmers that grows them usually around Easter now. She calls them Mursa birds.
Yeah.
It's a perfect description. And I still, like, if one of those things came running in this year, I'd be shit. If I flip this damn one away, I would freak out. It's huge. They come in, they land at us. Slaughtered weight like 3.5.
You're joking.
4 kgs and stuff.
Look, and the shop chicken is what 1.4.
Yeah.
Around there, 1.4, 1.5. Yeah. I mean that's massive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you would actually give people instructions on how to roast them properly.
Yes.
Drop the temperature low and slow.
Yeah. It'd be good for smoking.
Smoking something. Look, I agree with you. Like I'm a big guy. So if I had to choose an animal to live with, I'd live with a pig already. A real one. but to eat forever it would be swine. I think. But chicken is also up there for me. Like great chicken is just incredible.
Yeah. What do you like on pigs? What do you like eating?
Everything from the Americans say you can eat them from the rooter to the tutor. From
Everything except the squeal.
Yeah, so from the end the food goes in and from the end the food goes out, that sort of thing. But they just, I love animals where you can use everything.
Yes.
For me, duck is another one. We use most of the animal. Everything gets used. Pigs are like that. Lamb is also super versatile. It's just because it's smaller.
Yes.
But to your point with beef, I think beef is probably the most consumed protein in South Africa.
Yeah,
Still, that across the board.
I mean, like you say, if you can use it, obviously workable stuff at home. But if you have a good butcher who can do the things for you, then it's just those beautiful little intricate cuts.
And then I know that Philip is not your favorite cut, but what is? If you had to choose.
So it's quite funny. We actually had a dinner last night. We do these dinners once a month at the butchery, and now some private events too. So a lot of people. The one guy asked me, "Why is Denver becoming so popular?" And I think it's really, really cool to hear that coming from a consumer coming to a dinner, because there's a long answer, but we have guys like you who are asking for flat irons and Denvers, and you have, your chefs, Michael. Those guys who are working in there who are asking for these ancillary cuts. We have restaurants now asking, there's a new restaurant that's open up, they only want to serve flank steaks. And I think it's, the tail was wagging the dog and now the dog is wagging the tail. Guys like you are the ones that set the tone, because someone comes to your restaurant and they go, geez, I had a delicious Denver steak at Canteen, or I had a delicious Denver steak at Echo or Spec, and I want to try that. Where do I get that? And then we're getting more questions for those things. So people are understanding that there's more cuts. But on a beef carcass, man, I love a flat iron. I love a flat iron steak.
It's a good cut.
I also love a rump steak on the brine.
I agree with you.
Those big cross-cut rumps. We do them across the whole one. It's got a bit of picanha in there. It's got a bit of the... Oh, man. On a hot fire...
The Flavian rump is incredible, but I must be honest, for me the king of beef must be a rare cut.
Yes.
A good cotterbeef.
Yes.
A good big fat cotterbeef.
Yes,
absolutely. That big rib.
Yes.
It's great.
they're beautiful.
Cooked well, rested long enough.
Aged nicely.
Yeah, it's delicious. So it's such a good
amazing.
And also, towards the rib flap, I suppose that's where the brisket would sit and so on, Those little bits there that are slightly chewy,
yes,
but full of flavour. They're very fatty.
Absolutely. There's a guy I saw who actually cooks them in two parts. So he protects the meat and sous vide / slow braises that part for about 4 or 5 hours, and then finishes everything on a hot fire.
Cool.
And I'd never seen that before. And it's a lot of technique and a lot of time, but I love those crispy bits. I know when people French tomahawks, I'm like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
I heard this vicious rumor the other day, and I don't know if maybe somebody can tell us actually after this. But my friends in the Free State, my Dutchman friends, my Afrikaanse chommas, they are brine oxtail. So apparently you slow cook the oxtail or pressure cook the oxtail, cool it down, then Jimmy sauce it, or whatever sweet barbecue, so chuck it on the brine. So you get crispy fats and bone and stuff. And apparently it's incredible. So I still want to try it.
Okay, well let's do that. Next braai we do.
Yeah, brine oxtail, can you imagine?
Sure.
So Andrew, the red cuts are fine, but what is your favorite braising cut?
I have to say beef shrimp.
Oh yeah, okay.
So
and also booker, or do you do it with a cleaner?
I actually like, you take the whole beast, roll it in black pepper, roast it for a bit, and get a bit of caramelization on it. And then you bung it in your stock with things like that, with a bit of red wine. but like so much black pepper that it's actually quite hot.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant in Japan I saw online. They say the spiciness from the black pepper. I love that when the black pepper makes you sweat. Like that's what I love. Like a crazy amount of black pepper. Black pepper and cumin.
Yeah.
And you just cook it in the oven, get a bit of texture on it, and then braise that bad boy and pull all those juices in there. It's so good. You also get the marrow.
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing for me from a flavor combination perspective. How, if you ask most South Africans, your favorite sauce for steak, pepper sauce.
Yes.
A well-made pepper sauce is incredible.
Yes.
You know, and it complements a well-cooked piece of red meat so well.
Yeah.
But from a braising perspective, I can agree with you. I think shin is up there for me.
Yeah.
And then oxtail is my other one that's like really.
And then you can braai too.
Yeah, you can. So you work hard, really. I know you work long hours and you're up early and work late and those sort of things. But who cooks at home? You or Wendy?
Right. I'm going to get into trouble here, but Wendy doesn't cook at all. So,
Okay.
with all due respect to her, I love her. But we will be together 20 years in November.
Yeah.
And she's cooked me, well, I guess how many meals she's cooked in this 20 years?
Probably 2. I must say at least 2. Really?
It's one. But she's great. When it's her turn to cook, then she makes sure that we go out for a nice dinner. So she covers her base as well.
Does she come for burger nights?
Sometimes, but I'll tell her, she's been a loyal visitor at the feast, and she comes to pretty much, I'd say every second burger, but it's difficult to eat that every week. No, sure, but it's quite funny, yeah. So she always makes sure there's food on the table, but it's usually outsourcing concerns.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's what clever people do, you know. Like it's
outsource the stress.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do it to ourselves.
You know, we all good at something.
Yes.
And I think maybe Wendy has realised that's like that's her thing.
She's unlocked her secret superpower.
It's beautiful. And when you do cook at home, what is your vibe? Do you keep it simple? Do you cook heavily? Do you want to eat fast?
It's a combination of things. Like usually when you're going to an event and you're doing, I'm sure it's the same with you. You love to go somewhere and someone cook for you. Like it's a really, really lovely thing to be able to just go somewhere and not worry about the food and someone cook for you. So it's always very special. But I think it's whenever there's a fire going, then the tongs end up in my hand. Sure. But I'd rather not have that. But at home it's super simple, like quick meals. We're all trying to eat a bit healthier, so I'm trying to eat sort of healthy, light stuff. I eat actually a lot of fish at home.
Yeah.
And someone asked me the other day, you must eat meat every day. And I do. So, yeah. But I mean, it's usually like very light meals cooking at home. But we do also love to eat out in Cape Town and see. We've got such cool young places. I mean, in this radius over here, there's so many spots that are, staples and fresh places with chefs that we love,
What I love about Cape Town eating at the moment is it's not about sort of serious awards and those sort of things.
Yes.
Everyday eating in Cape Town. It's just about eating delicious food, and like Obi is one of those places for us. Another one that I really enjoy eating at is Bar Down.
I love Graham.
I love it. Like this food is delicious.
Yeah.
So there's lots of those little spots where people care about what they do, and it doesn't have to be pretentious over the top. It really is very approachable.
We were at Bar Down 2 weeks ago, and it's always just so good.
Love it. What did we have the last time that was so good? The cucumber's always good, but we had something new. Have you had the mussels?
Yes.
Mussels are
Delicious.
So good.
We weren't going to have them, and then we ordered them last minute.
No, we were so glad. It was incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got really, really cool, like you say, there's a group of really sort of, I like the fact that there's less pretension,
Yeah.
It's more bountifulness, more full plates, more real cooking than foams and gels.
Yeah.
I think.
How do you feel about coffee in Cape Town? You've got strong coffee opinions.
I love coffee. I think Cape Town's got a crazy coffee culture. We've got guys like Rosetta and Origin and Truth and places around here that have been doing it for so long now. And I think, we're obviously very much new wave coffee stuff, but my friends have got a place called Lello's Cafe, like Italian coffee. So it's diversifying, and we use a coffee brand called Cedar. at the butchery. Lee is from Rosetta, and Winston was Margin. Sorry, were. And they're just two young guys roasting amazing with no bullshit stuff.
Cool.
Really, really. I mean, Winston's won barista championships, and I think our coffee in this Cape Town is really good. You know, I'm spoiled because as I walk into Woodstock, there's a coffee waiting for me. So I don't go out to as many coffee shops as I used to, but I love it on a Saturday to go for a routine of coffee.
How do you have your coffee?
Usually black.
Yeah.
Black Americano.
Yeah.
Boring.
So the coffee for me is also interesting. So we're very loyal to Haas Coffee.
Yes.
Instead, do a lot of our stuff in Stellenbosch, and I'm also a big fan of Deluxe. And they just both brands I feel run their business really well, very supportive. We long are the days gone that you can serve a shit cup of coffee in a restaurant.
Absolutely.
It has to be good, and it has become more focused for us. Through years as restaurants have grown. But one of my favorites, I suppose, is in Stellenbosch. There's a little in Dorpshet, a little Deluxe at the Smitswinkel.
Oh, nice.
And Oaks behind the Missions Noah. So if you see in the queue, they're just asking me about leaves at 1 or 2 today.
So good.
So that's it. And it took them a little. I moved from, because I'm also trying to be a little bit healthier. I moved from cappuccinos with 2 sugars, to black coffee, to Americanos, and it took them a little while to realize that I'm new. So they always say to Mali, the old coffee, the new coffee, like but it's
old me and new me.
But it's beautiful to be regular somewhere. It's beautiful to.
It's really cool, like that sort of personal touch in places. And it's amazing. My friend was behind the bar at overseas, and they said to me, it's crazy how people open up to complete strangers. You know, you're walking into a bar and you talk to the barista or the barman or whoever it may be about some stuff that you wouldn't really tell your nearest and dearest.
Yeah.
But you open up to a bartender. I don't know if it's a safe space, but it's kind of a beautiful relationship that you have, and that you feel like wanted, I guess.
I think we might need more of that, to be honest with you.
Yes.
People just,
therapy and coffee.
100%.
Maybe there's a concept.
Maybe bourbon. Bourbon is great.
It's going to get the truth juice.
100%. 100%.
I love it.
Andrew, what does your last meal look like?
Cheapest. I've been asked this question recently, not on another podcast. Promise you. I think I've narrowed it down, and it sounds super specific because, like I said, I've actually been asked this question a couple of times, and I've thought about it. Steak tartare, start.
Good start. Mayo in, egg yolk, or oil?
Super traditional, mayo definitely.
Okay.
Gherkins, red onion.
Nice.
A little quail egg on top.
Beautiful.
Capers and chilies.
Yes, has to be.
And then I want a T-bone steak.
Yeah.
Cafe de Brie butter.
Yeah.
A whole lobster.
Nice.
And skinny cut fries with herb butter on top.
That sounds delicious, actually. Yeah.
So surf and turf, basically.
Yeah.
And then followed by a New York cheesecake and a bottle of bourbon.
There you go.
I'm done. Yeah, they can switch the lights off after that.
That's pretty perfect. I think I can't think of anything better than that, to be honest with you.
It's weird how much thought I put into that, but I think it's done. At least when that day comes, and I'll be able to know what I want.
Look, with some pre-warning, I'm sure we can sort you out. Perfect. No, stunning. That's also up my alley.
And yours?
It's very similar. Prawn cocktail.
Ooh.
A really good piece of aged meat with peppercorn sauce and great chips and Caesar salad. That combination.
Beautiful.
Ice cream and chocolate sauce.
I mean, so we could, at least between us, we'll be able to be mostly happy if they give us the same meal.
I think like a in my mind, I've got this thing of an old South African steakhouse classic meal.
Yes.
And based or unbasted meat, it does. I like a sweet basting on meat sometimes. This is one of those things. DNA. This is who we are. But I love the fact that South Africa's got a very specific steakhouse culture.
Yes.
We eat it and things. We eat snails.
Are there enough of them?
No, there's not. But the weird thing for me is that you get people that'll pull their nose up for a prawn, but they char snails in a steakhouse. Yeah. It's just from a tin, and they just smash them. And it's like.
I remember I know the story from recollection now. But I was a young kid and we went out with my best friend in time. I must have been like 6 years old, 7 years old, and the dad said, "You can order whatever you want." And I sat down and I ordered snails. And I just remember him dropping off and like, well done, that's your boy ordered snails at like 6 years old in the steakhouse. I'm like, yeah,
Beautiful.
that's amazing. Yeah, garlic snails.
Love it. I think it's those sort of things need to exist in our world.
Yes.
More prawn cocktails, more avarices, snails, crumb mushrooms.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's just delicious stuff.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
delicious.
it.
It's famous and popular for a reason, right? Because it's damn delicious.
And you know, there's chain restaurants that have built a reputation on the back of that sort of stuff in South Africa. But I think there's a place for us to really celebrate what is a classic South African steakhouse. What does it look like in the future?
Yes.
You know? It doesn't have to be, you know, gold leaf coated meat and salt and a funny sort of nonsense. It just has to be like great beef.
Yeah.
You know, as we eat it.
It's interesting what you say about the basin steak. Like, there's definitely a place for it.
I love it.
Definitely.
There's a thing, you know, like monkey gland.
Yes.
As a place.
Yes, absolutely.
It's got a big role to play in our cuisine, but it's a modern South African sauce. It's something that was sort of brought to us in the 60s, I think.
Yeah.
That's it. And you can't deny that every South African has a thing for sweet, sour, spicy.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's our vibe.
A friend went to a wedding, and they're living in New York, and they said that one of the appetizers was baboti samosas.
Yeah.
She said she had about 24 of them. Just because she missed that flavor profile. Hasn't had it for so
Yes,
long.
they think of it with you know, it's got a little bit of vinegar, apricot jam, raisins,
And a little bit of chutney.
A little bit of chutney. You know, it's a thing my wife cooks at home, and the other night she made
Wendy.
sorry Wendy, but the other night she made it with yellow rice with sambal, and you can't help yourself but have a plate of that with Mrs. Ball's chutney.
Yes.
It's just who we are.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
Which one? Which Mrs. Balls?
Oh, the traditional, the OG, yeah, definitely.
I like the hot one. I'm also the peach one.
What about chutney on dry brekkies?
I know. So Travis, the guy at Frankie Fenner, we had I think we have a bit of a heated debate, but I thought it had more weight than he does. It's like cross and black or mayo,
Yeah. Okay.
onions, tomato, cheese, chutney, dry brick.
There you go. Love it.
Some people don't put the mayo on.
No. You know what? I had a very interesting conversation with a French chef I worked with in London years ago, and he spoke to me about his mother making mayonnaise, and he asked me how my mother makes mayonnaise, and I said she doesn't. We get it from a jar. It comes in across the knuckle jar, and he was disgusted by the fact that we don't make our own mayonnaise in South Africa.
I mean, with the burgers, we do our own mayos in house. You know, we make these amazing aiolis, and the mayo is actually some of the things we've done, like baconaise and like pepperoni-naise, and done all these mayos infused with things. And do your mayo that's split just before service. Trav managed to pull it back together. But we were talking the other day again in the kitchen, like when around this bride book again, like a tangy South African mayo.
Sure.
Oh man.
That's, you know, we at home we very much Hellman's people.
Yes.
And it's a great thing. It's a delicious. Yeah, it's just who we are. You know.
Yeah.
I love chutney chicken.
Yes.
You know that thing is
Yes.
it's an actual treasure. Yeah. You know, you can't get rid of it. It's 100%. Andrew, beer or bourbon?
Beer or bourbon? Oh, bourbon, hands down. Like, hands down. Hands down. I have to say, because so much so that I'm trying to drink a bit less of it, because it's so delicious.
Which one? You know, again, loaded question.
Yo, that is a difficult one.
Okay, here's the one. Which bourbon is your everyday drinker?
Buffalo Trace.
Ah, cool.
Buffalo Trace. The juice in that bottle is so good. We actually, when I was over there last year, I went to the distillery, and just to see the scale at which they operate and for how long they've been doing it, and it's incredible. I love the sort of the simplicity of what bourbon is. You know, the Scotch have got their own methods, but the bourbon is same processes for centuries now. But that Buffalo Trace is amazing. And on the same site, they do Blanton's, they do Eagle Rare. They're doing a couple of these smaller batch things. It's just mad to see the scale. They say by the end of next year they're going to build more warehouses. They're going to have 2.5 million barrels aging on site. That's nuts. I mean, we went to one wreck house that had like 80,000 barrels. Wow. I can't conceptualize the size of these things.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but Buffalo Trace is good juice. There's also a thing that we we drink. It's called a Dirty Buffalo.
Yeah.
Double Buffalo Trace and Coke.
Oh, wonderful.
The Dirty Buffalo is like a private school branding and Coke.
Yeah. Like it sounds like an American Dutchman.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you got right. You work with your mullet. You know?
No. Thank you for mentioning it. I'm cultivating this bad boy.
If you have a big night, Andrew, what does Andrew Nelson drunk food looks like? Is it a Woolies shop?
I think it's a Woolies shop, but I'm always going to aim towards like some sort of fried chicken.
Okay.
I love that. And then often, like, back to our last meals, it will often be something like an Averritz.
Yeah, I love that really.
It's a weird,
it's wild.
It's a weird thing.
I'm pissed about Averritz.
The prawn cocktail and Ava from Woolies.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's quite a. I mean, I would have thought like one of the Samis or something at least.
No, that's a weird thing. I'm a weird person. So
it's very posh.
Yeah, well, no, I think we all become altered versions of ourselves when we're drunk. So never know. But it's definitely a late night engine on our mission.
You're going to see Willie sharpening up that Averritz game after this.
Yeah, he's got to get it. It's our death row meal.
Where is the love for? I mean, I know you love motorcycles, but BMW is your thing. Where does the love for BMW come from?
So I think it's quite a long story, but it's quite a cool one. Let's start at the beginning. My grandmother and her husband at the time actually had the rights to distribute BMW motorcycles in South Africa.
Wow.
And she said that after the umpteenth guy had come in with the motorcycle crash, or the young guy had passed away, she said, we can't do this anymore. So they sold the rights. So I think life would be a little bit different if we had BMW rights for South Africa. And then growing up, my dad had a BMW 5 Series that I just remember so much, and my mom loved BMWs. She always said she always wanted a BMW. So they've always been around us. I love the sort of Bavarian culture too, and the football teams around there. And I think it's just a beautiful brand. And in terms of what branding stuff they do, there's not many car companies that have had Andy Warhol paint an art car, and they do these amazing art. It's so much more of a brand. They built this incredible story around it. They love their heritage too, so they've got centuries of heritage that they work on. Yeah, I love them, and they're beautiful machines.
Yeah, I can agree. I concur.
I know. I couldn't. I mean, who called you more to find out what's happening about the BMW?
Yeah. Look, it's an amazing machine.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it so much.
They really are, and they're a reliable piece.
Like I don't know how to verbalize it yet, but I have an intense love for Harley Davidsons. But I really, especially old ones. But I really enjoy this Beamer.
Yeah,
it's a great motorcycle.
It is, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I know.
The color scheme is beautiful.
She works hard.
Yeah,
she works hard.
I can see she's going to work already. You drive and ride your things.
Yeah, you have to. But my car's always dirty, and scratched, and same with my bikes. And I can't imagine getting something that's so enjoyable and looking at it and not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like it's not what it's supposed to be.
It's been my problem. Is like nervous to use the things because I want them to be safe and pristine. But I'm kind of with my new mullet now. I care.
With a mullet, you could do anything.
It's a new lease of life.
Andrew, your biggest regret?
In all walks.
Yeah.
I think if I were to, this is obviously there'll probably be 50 answers that come after this. But I think for where we are now and looking back, and there's again, I see the content you get pushed on social media about they wish that they'd worked a bit less. And I think for me it's not that, it's just being able to separate them out and enjoy the hardships of the labor, and all through life, just to be able to maybe take it a little bit less seriously. And that's an ongoing thing that I think that we can adjust as we go.
I think we can all adjust that.
Yes. And I mean, you know how your work ethic and what you've done. To just take a step back and being able to appreciate it. It doesn't mean that you're not going to, when you're on, but just to be able to be off.
Sure.
To be able to switch that. I think that's an ongoing regret. Like I said, there'll probably be a flood of one, and probably someone's going to message me and say, like, what about that time?
Well, tomorrow morning the show, you're like, holy shit. Yeah, saying
passed out outside.
Wendy's going to have something to say. And your biggest win at life?
I think the happy decisions that have led to this state right now, where I'm feeling really happy and confident about where life is at in personal life and work, and I think just the sequence of events that have brought us here. I think it's every day. We need to kind of appreciate. I went to a funeral recently that was impacted me way more than I thought it would have, actually a couple of days ago. And just to be able to appreciate, that's the same thing as the regret, it's to be able to appreciate the moment. So the fact that I've got the presence of mind now to understand that we need to do this and need to stop and smell the roses, for lack of a better word, and being able to be in a position where I'm lucky enough to do that. I think I must be very thankful for that, grateful for that, and also being able to ride a BMW.
Andrew, your favorite food destination in the world?
So it's one I haven't been to yet. Japan.
Oh yeah, I haven't been either. Man, we had. So how fitting is this meal then?
That's it. Yeah, fortuitous, huh?
Oh.
This is the biggest win. I saw an article this morning. Japan voted the greatest food destination in the world. I think it's that search for perfection and pursuit of a craft, where someone will do one thing for their whole life is beautiful.
They're stunning.
And to just, accept that they're never going to be the master, but they're going to try. And I think just in terms of how deep and ancient their culture is and how food is tied into that is amazing. I can't wait to go. We actually had a trip planned in 2020, and then we all know what happened.
And I think that culture is such a divorce from our culture.
Yes.
Our culture of always working hard, always pushing, in various directions to try and make things work.
Yes.
And then you get a culture that's just focused, very focused.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a privilege to be that focused, So we sometimes don't have all those privileges, but to be able to just dedicate your life to something or a art or craft is amazing. So I think I'd actually love to go. Wendy, I'd love to go there by myself and just immerse myself completely. And going somewhere where I don't know the language or the people or where I'm going or never been before, really appeals to me.
It's on our list as well. I don't know if it's top of our list, but it's really on our list.
Where's yours?
To eat. Right now, I'd like to travel to South America. I think there's, I think Argentina in particular, and the culture, the beef culture is really inspiring.
Bourbon.
And the way.
Come visit us.
Yeah, please. and just I think that there's similar issues as in South Africa. There's almost, there's parts of the country that's very rural and in a way it's third world countries, and then there's places like Cape Town that's very first world and forward moving, a deep history, culturally very rich, and then the relationship with food and wine. I think it's very similar to ours, so I'd love to go there.
Yeah,
to go and eat.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely up there too. And more recently, I've thought about it a lot more recently.
There's direct flights now to Brazil, so you can get there a bit easier, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. That would be incredible.
Andrew, what's next for you? So, not today. Obviously, we're going to have a few drinks and have a nap. But what's next? What is your short-term plan?
So I think for this year, in the last couple of years, we've been, on a work perspective, we've been sort of focusing on what we have. After the last couple of years, we all know we've all been in a bit of repair mode. So I think what's next is trying to find exciting new projects and new spaces to be in, see where this road can go. We've got this amazing burger brand. So what do we do next with that? There's a couple irons and fires, and then what does the future hold for Frankie Finner? I think we've grown in a really natural, organic way. So I wouldn't want to just suddenly derail. You know, I've got maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but I've got a certain distrust of that scale for the sake of scaling, and you know, just grow for growing without it being organic and strong. So like trees that grow for hundreds of years have deeper, stronger roots than anything else. So as long as we can just keep this machine going the right direction, that would be great. There's a couple cool other side projects. We're getting involved in a potential food truck.
Yeah, cool.
Which is just a fun thing with my buddy. And on a personal level, looking after myself so we don't have to have that last meal too soon.
Hopefully for many years to come.
Yeah, exactly.
No, look, we still need to fry burgers delivered to us regularly for a very long time. You know,
Someone needs to get those burgers to you.
Yeah, 100%. Andrew, thanks for your time, Reb.
Thank you.
It was nice to chat. Always nice to catch up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. We've got some food to eat, some beer to drink. Yeah. Cheers. Cheers, my Reb.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this wonderful conversation with Andrew. I learned something, I'm sure you learned something, and I can't wait to share the next one with you. If you want to eat somewhere, eat at Obi. It's the best.